So we're probably live. Yep. Alrighty. Let me just make sure we're live over here in the group, even though it says live. Make sure I went in the right place.
I haven't seen it.
It's there. Hey, everybody. So we're here. Sunday is our first one on this Sunday. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday weekend. We have Nicholle back. She's going to be running us through flower essences and how they all work. And we'll probably talk a little bit about flower essence and combining that with EFT. So if you haven't met Nicholle yet, she was on here a couple weeks ago. We were talking about emotional freedom technique. And she also incorporates flower essences into her practice. So I asked her to come on and talk a little bit about how all of that works. So Nicholle, welcome.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me again.
You're welcome. Why don't you go ahead before we get started, share a little bit about yourself and how you came to study flower essences.
So I am a naturopathic practitioner, and during my naturopathic schooling, they were teaching us the difference between body, mind, and spirit. And when we got to the mind and to the emotional part, they were introducing us to flower essences. And as soon as they mentioned it, I told myself, I'm like, I have all of these emotional issues. This is my thing. Because there's a questionnaire which I posted in the group that you can fill out just to kind of see which flowers out of box 38 original flowers you need depending on how you feel. And the questionnaire is 38 categories with 3 questions per category. And I'm like check marking everything. I'm like,
every single one.
Yep. And so as soon as we went to break, I ran to the back of the classroom where they had the store, and they were selling the whole flower essence practitioner kit. And I called my husband. I'm like, there's like a $400 charge that's going to the credit card right now. And he's like, what are you buying? I'm like, I'll explain later. And I like hung up and bought it and fell in love with them. Like they just called to me and it was meant to be.
Did I ever tell you my first experience in like flower essence? I don't have a whole bunch of experience in it. I have a very minute experience. I think I told you this story, but I'll share. I think you'll remember when I tell you, but I'll share with the group. So hey, Heather, thanks for joining us. When I was pregnant with my oldest, who's now 6, both of my kids were under midwifery care. And, midwives are kind of open to all this holistic alternative type medicine. And towards the end of my pregnancy with my oldest, my midwife had given me, some herbs and some flower essences to kind of take to prepare for birth. And my husband's not so much into this stuff. He'll go along because I like it. But one of the things they had me take of the herbs along with the flower essence if you read the label, it said wild unicorn root. And he's like, are you kidding me? Like, it says wild unicorn root. He's like, if it had like rainbows and glitter, you would take it. And I'm like, of course I would take it.
Of course, I would too.
So that was
we all need a little magic in our lives.
Totally in. So that was my first experience with that, and kind of opening me up to this whole world of alternative stuff, and flower essences being one of them. So that was my one story that I have. So tell me a little bit about, how it all works, how they come up with the actual like product, because I know that's really important, and then how we incorporate it into our lives.
So it's been around for a long time. They can't even get a specific date, but they do state that a long time ago, people noticed that dew would settle on a flower or on a plant in the morning dew. And they would go out there and collect the dew with cloths and then wring them out into bottles and then give them out to people depending on the intuition that the practitioner got from the flower or the essence of the plant or whatever it is. But Dr. Bach, he figured out, he was like, there has to be an easier way. And so he did something, and I'm going to show you a picture. Oh, I hope I can get it on there. So he did the sun method. Oh, can you see that? Yeah, you can see it. Where you place the flowers in a bowl of spring water in the field where the plant is growing naturally, and let it sit in the sun and let the sun heat up the plants, and therefore the plant's essence that essence gets stored in the water molecules, and then you preserve it with brandy, and then that's how you ingest it. So he came up with that, and it's been really popular in other countries, but the United States is one of the countries that it just isn't well known yet. So here we are.
Very cool. So how do you know what you need?
So every flower does something different. It depends on how intuitive you are and how sensitive you are. Some people they'll be drawn naturally to a flower, and that's because the flower is sending you out a vibration. So flowers send out signals. Okay, I'm trying to explain it as simple as possible. Flowers send out signals when they're in the plant, and it actually sends signals out to like bees, and the bees come by, and if the flower is emanating a specific signal or vibration, the bees and like the hummingbirds, they know, oh, this flower is ready to be drank from. And once that bee or that hummingbird drinks from that flower, the vibration of that flower changes. So when you get drawn to a flower, it's because it's sending out a signal specifically to you that you are picking up, just like a bee or a hummingbird would. Yeah, it's really amazing stuff. They like scientifically proved all this. But anyways, so when you get drawn to a flower, that's one way of maybe that you need the essence of it. The life force is trying to call to you saying, hey, I'm here for you. I want to sacrifice myself to help you balance your frequency with my frequency. Another way is you can just Google. So, I mean, thank God for the internet now. You can just search out flowers like, hey, I'm really drawn to this bougainvillea plant, which is what happened to me. I was super drawn to the bougainvillea plant, and I finally just couldn't take it anymore, because every time I walked by her, because there was a plant next to my office, and every time I'd walk by her, it would just be like, hey, me, pay attention, me. So I looked it up, and it was it's a plant, it's a flower essence that helps you to take deep breaths and to be able to just to breathe, to not feel that elephant on your chest. Along with it, it also does help you with anger issues. And so at that time in my life, when I first like realized that she wanted to help me, I couldn't take deep breaths. I just always was shallow breathing. I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to take a deep breath. And I made a flower essence from that plant. And I started taking it, and sure enough, like within like a couple of minutes, I could start taking deep breaths, and it was just incredible. So you can look up the plants, you can feel the plants, talk to the plants. It's up to you.
Well, you know, my grandma's from, well, she passed away like many years ago, but she was originally from England, and she's like, you know, old world English. So just everything about her was very different. And she would talk to plants all the time, talk to her trees, and she like really felt they had feelings. So this I can somewhat understand. And I'm surprised you explained the whole, like the hummingbird part of it and the bee part. I was like, oh, I could get in on this. This makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's scientifically proven. And the reason the plant changes its frequencies, so it's so that if a bee or a hummingbird already has taken out the nectar, there's no more nectar to give. The flower still needs to reproduce it. So it changes its frequency so that the hummingbird or the bee that's flying by says, oh, she's already been like withdrawn. There's nothing to take, so I can move on to the next one.
So interesting. Okay. So how do you use them? Do you like ingest them? You smell
let me show
them?
you a couple of them. So
right.
I'll just show you these two. So you can take a flower at a time, or you can make a formula. So I like to start with taking a flower at a time. If you have a very specific issue, or if you're new to flower essences. If you are working with practitioner, obviously practitioner is going to want to make you a formula, because they know how which flowers help each other to help us. And so this is a stock bottle. So they sell these online. They sell the Bach flowers at Sprouts. They sell
Market.
Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Whole Foods. And so you can get those. And these are the one flower essences. So it's like one flower. And you can take these directly into your mouth. You can put them in your bath. You can put them in a lotion. You can put them in an oil. You can put them in a bottle of water. It's up to you how you want to take it. Preferably ingesting is my method of like preferred for my clients. And the going rate is 4 drops 4 times a day. So that's 16 drops a day. You can muscle test to see if you need more. You can feel the energy, see if you need more or less. It's up to you, but 16 is the average for a person. The other way you can take it is to take it like already in a formulated, in a formula that has a topic. So for example, this is fearless. So this is for courage. And this one is called Flora Sleep. This one's to help stop that monkey chatter when you can't go to sleep, when your just mind's racing and you're just having issues with your sleep. Those are formulated formulas that have like topics, or you can have a formula made specifically for what you're going through in your life. And again, you spray this directly in your mouth. You can mist the air around you so it absorbs in your aura. Yeah, so those are the ways.
Okay. What are the most popular ones that people take?
The most popular formulas are the 2 that I'm showing you here. It's Fearless, which is composure and containment when challenged by fear, anxiety, or panic. So this is a really good formula to start with, especially for someone who's not quite sure if it works, but has panic attacks, has fears, has just moments of instability, of anxiety, just that everyday stuff.
And it would be something that you could tell like pretty right away. Like, because anxiety and like panic and that kind of stuff is very like present. I'm guessing that's why you tell somebody like, if you want to see if it works, go this route, because I mean, from 1 minute to the next if it's there or if it's not.
Exactly. And you'll know within seconds. So I was receiving an award and I was really nervous because it was in front of a congressman. And I was panicking. Like I was so, and they wanted me to like say a thank you speech. I wasn't expecting to do that. Like they were just like, oh, by the way, you have to say like a speech afterwards. I'm like, So I had this in my purse, and I'm in the back of the stage. I'm just like,
let me just drink it all.
I think I took like so you take 2 sprays at a time. I think I took 4 8 sprays. I went 2 and then I was like waiting and I took 2 more. And then I started watching myself like calm down. And then by the 8th spray, I'm like, I got this. And so I went on stage and then did my speech. But yeah, this is probably the best one. This is my #1 seller. It's the best one to start. It's a great gift, especially for the holidays, to send it out to family members who have some imbalances, but are not 100% like open to getting with a practitioner, or they just kind of want to see if it works. This is great. And then the Flora Sleep is my second bestseller because I don't know about you, but I get monkey chatter right before sleep and I can't go to bed because I'm thinking about all the things I have to do, the people I have to call, like all the things I'm wishing for. So it helps you calm down.
That's cool. All right. So if you're going to use it, so I know you use it in your EFT practice a lot. And we can talk about that in just a second, but what other things would you combine? What other like modalities does it work really well with?
So these formulas actually have essential oils in them. So essential oils and flower essences do go hand in hand and go together. But remember with essential oils, they're very, very, very powerful. And you want to make sure that you're taking like an amount that your practitioner tells you to take if you're going to ingest essential oils. So these formulas are done already to a safe standard. So I would say essential oils and flower essences go hand in hand. You can diffuse an essential oil with a flower essence because you're still going to get the frequency of the essence of the flower in the air, and you're going to be walking through it, absorbing, breathing it in, all that stuff. I think I explained to you in a simple term of how flower essences work through a drawing. Do you remember that frequency drawing I did for you?
Yeah, maybe not. I don't remember anything.
Okay. Oh no! I lost you. There you go. I'll do it again just so that if anyone didn't see that originally, they can see it now. So, for example, this is choose happy is my little notepad. Let's say you got cut off in the car by some random person because they're trying to get to the Black Friday sales, right? And you were feeling a little perturbed, right? So this is balance, right? A straight line across is balance. You're neutral, you're not happy, you're not sad, you're pretty calm. Sorry, keep losing you guys. It's like, you guys want to fly with me. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay. So straight line is balance. What if you get cut off, right, by that guy? You start feeling a little perturbed, right? And so now your frequency changes. You're not anymore a straight line. You're going up and down. So what a flower essence does is the frequency of the flower that helps you balance back to that straight line by giving you the opposite frequency of what you're feeling. So now you're symmetrical, and now you can come back to that straight line across. So I had to explain that because I kept hearing it from my angels telling me to tell you guys.
You know, sometimes when we get into this stuff, it's a little trippy for me, a little bit. When we're like talking about frequencies, sometimes like I really have to like remind myself, okay, just be open. Because a lot of this stuff is hard. I don't know about anybody else in the group, but when we talk about frequencies and the intangibleness of it, you know, maybe there is a way that you can measure it.
I can explain it because I kind of felt the same way that you did, where I'm like, frequency doesn't make sense. So here's how it was explained to me that made it make way more sense to me is, you know how we hear certain music and it can make us sad, right? So do you have like a sad song that you know of that you can recall off the top of your head? Like the Titanic song?
Sure, yeah.
That's sad, right? When you hear it, you're like, he's dying in the water. She won't make space for him on that stupid door, right? So you're hearing the song and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm sad. But when you hear like that one song that says, don't worry, be happy now, ooh, 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 that's all frequency, right? But it's giving you a specific emotion, right? When you hear it, and all you're doing is just listening to it, you're absorbing it. So that's the same thing as frequency medicine. You're feeling certain emotions internally already because of your everyday life and your perceptions and stuff like that. And you're vibrating at a specific frequency because we're electrical beings. Hence why they do EKG tests. They're testing the electrical pulses in our bodies, right? But when you take a vibrational medicine, what it's doing is just trying to balance out those frequencies so that they're not so crazy.
You know what this reminds me of? We might talk about it this week. So I went to go see that. It's a documentary called Heal. And it's about how the body can heal itself. And we're actually going to have the director of the documentary on Friday. Oh, cool. But they watch, you know, they have like two people that they're following in this movie. And one of them goes in for sound healing. And they put some stuff on them, like electrode type things, where they can now monitor where that person is. I guess it's their frequency. Right. And then they do this sound healing, and he's trying to figure out, okay, where does that sound need to be for that specific person until their body gets to a place. I don't know if it's like utter relaxation, but like they get to like a zero. And it was cool because you got to see like it happen, you know, because without it, it's, you know, people try to explain this to me and it's hard for me being a very, I don't know. Logical? Just kind of black and white, logical. Yeah. I thought you said module. I was like, yeah, no, logical, being a very logical person to understand a lot of this stuff sometimes, right? You know, so I can, now that I'm kind of thinking about that, it makes a lot more sense.
So colors have a frequency and flowers have a frequency and music has a frequency, and that's all vibrational medicine. Yeah, okay. I utilize a lot of sound. When I do like our tapping sessions, I use so what they call them solfeggio frequencies. So it's specific frequencies of music that help each of our chakras, and each of our chakras are correlated to our organs, which are correlated to an emotion. And so I'm not only tapping with somebody and giving them flower essences, I'm also sending a specific frequency of music to start even shifting those blockages. And then the color thing I haven't gotten into, but I do want to get into that, like having color in my office and yeah, I love vibrational medicine. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah, it's very cool. Sometimes I just have to like believe it. If that makes like just go.
What is it? Just Tinkerbell, right? You just have to clap. I believe.
It's my mom. Oh my gosh, if my mom watches this. So I can't believe I'm going to tell you guys this story. So we used to have on VHS, it was, I think she was from England. It's a lady, she played Tinkerbell like in a play. and it was on like a VHS. What is her name? I forget. But I would watch this Peter Pan like theater. It was like the play on a VHS. I would watch this thing like over and over and over. And you know where Tinkerbell like dies, and then Peter Pan is like getting everybody to clap, you know? So oh my God, I can't believe I'm telling you this. So I am like, and I'm super sensitive, so I get really emotional about stuff, but I'm like super enthralled in this. And I remember thinking to myself, oh man, what if I don't clap? And then it's like my fault, right? So
oh wow!
I'm like, I better clap, even though I know it's a tape recording. I know I better clap, and so I'm clapping like this so nobody will see. And then my mom comes in and she sees me, and I was way too old to believe. I was probably like 13.
You're never too old to believe. Okay,
I was like 13, like, oh, I gotta clap, and like to this day, my mom still makes fun of me for clapping at Tinkerbell.
No, that's funny that you're bringing this up, because like this last week, I'm like, I got a message from the angels that we need to remember that magic is still around. Like we're still living in a magical life. Like, and magic is just a change in our subconscious, you know, a change in our consciousness.
Yeah.
We just have to believe. That's it.
Yeah, I'm that person. Yeah,
Heather,
totally. Oh man. Yeah, it is Sandy something. I don't know what Heather's trying to prompted me on what it is, but
oh yeah, I see all the writings now. Hi everybody.
Oh man. I'm a little bit too vulnerable in our talk sometimes, but that's okay.
Okay, at the center of your chest, remember, always just come back to that.
Oh Lord. Okay. You know, I do that a lot now since we talked about that.
Is it just with me that you get, or is it with everyone that you
No,
get?
it's with everybody.
Okay. So you're healing. This is
I'm
good.
healing. I'm working on it. So off subject of flower essence, because I kind of have to ask you this. I have to talk about this with everybody right now. Have you ever read the book Love Warrior?
No, but I just saw your post.
Oh my gosh. It she has a really amazing way of writing where she like looking back at her life, I can identify a lot of like the emotion that she talks about in the book. So I spent like 2 days going through the whole book, and I literally cried like the whole time reading this book. It was super intense. But you should read it. Everybody should read it.
Yeah, I just saw your post. I'm going to check it out.
With the disclaimer, get rid. I don't know if everybody should.
Did you put the disclaimer in there?
There needs to be the disclaimer. Be ready to like
ball out,
deal with your stuff. Like, and I don't know if everybody has that same experience, but I very much had that experience of like, oh yeah, here I can like I can look back at my life and see where in my life was I experiencing those emotions. Oh, it's good though.
It's good.
It's super good, but it's super, super, super vulnerable. I almost
move stuff.
Yeah, I almost feel like a band. You know, like when you rip a Band-Aid off, it's very raw. Mm-hmm. You know, after reading
lots of water. Yes, and
rest. Yeah. Holy moly, lots of crazy stuff.
And fill yourself with lots of light and love. Because remember, since you moved energy out and blockages, you don't want to leave any empty spaces. And so a lot of the times when people feel raw like that, I've found that they didn't fill themselves up with love and light to take place of those empty parts now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to spend some time like in a meditation tonight, really concentrating on that.
Yeah, just filling yourself up, surrounding yourself in pink light and any color light that you want to envision. Just fill yourself up with that and you'll feel better.
Okay, let's get back to flower essences.
Okay.
Little off topic, but that's okay. So when you're going to combine this with like EFT, how does that work?
So when I do EFT, there's a questionnaire that you fill out prior to us tapping so that we know what we're tapping on, what's the issues that you're going on, what you're going through in your life, and what emotions are coming up in regards to that issue. So by the end of our tapping session, I can get a better sense of which flowers want to continue to help you until our next tapping session. And normally a flower essence formula lasts about 30 days, but I've had clients go through them within 2 weeks. It just really depends on how quickly you want to move through your journey. Some people want to go slow and their formula lasts like 2 months or 45 days. And some people, like I said, go through it within 2 weeks and they want to come back and do another tapping session and do another formula. Sometimes people, since tapping is very powerful and you move a lot of energy during the session, I've had clients that do a tapping session with a flower essence. They take that flower essence for about a month. And when they finish, they just come back and get a refill, but they don't want to tap because they still feel balanced. They feel peaceful. They don't really feel like they have anything to work on, but they do want it to continue to stay in that peaceful state with the flower essence formula.
If I was going to go and like, I wanted a X amount of flower essences to give me like, oh, in case, you know, I'm dealing with this, this, and this. What if I was going to construct like a go-to kit to have at my house, what would you suggest I have?
So I would recommend, if you don't want to get formulas, which I think formulas are the easiest because you got topics. So like I have grief relief. So you're going through something sad, take grief relief. You're going through fear, take fearless. You're having issues with activating yourself in the sense of like, you have all this creative energy, but you're not really like putting it to the work. I have a formula called Activate that helps you to kind of put your thoughts and your creativity into motion. And there's more formulas. There's a grounding formula. There's I have to look back. Sorry, a mindful formula. So you know how we get kind of spacey sometimes and we can't concentrate? Mindful is really good for those moments of like kids that are about to have like a final exams, or you're going to have, you're going to do a test, or you have a work project, things like that. If you don't want to do the formulas, then I would recommend always having in your arsenal ELM. So ELM. ELM is for feeling overwhelmed. So stressful environments, we can tend to feel overwhelmed easily. So ELM helps with that. And when I was creating my programs, I literally had the bottle on the table because I felt so overwhelmed, like every like couple hours, that I would just take a dosage and then feel better and continue to work. And then all of a sudden things would just come to a rise again, and I take another dosage and then feel better. So ELMs are wonderful to have at work or just with you. I would recommend also Mimulus. So Mimulus is a flower essence for known fears. So many of us, we're going to go into work and we're going to have to face our boss. We're afraid of what our boss is going to say. We know that we have fears. So that's a wonderful formula to have, especially with kids who are afraid of the dark or they're having issues going to bed. That's a wonderful formulation or flower essence. Aspen is another flower essence for fear, but it's for unknown fears. So for those vague anxieties that we don't know why we're afraid, we don't know why we have anxiety, Aspen is a wonderful flower essence for that specifically. Larch is a flower essence that is definitely one of the top 10 in the sense of it's for self-esteem. So if you're having low self-esteem or you need some extra confidence, Larch, LARCH, helps us with that. And the flower essence that I used a lot last year, which I'm not using so much this year, but some people still might be going through changes. The flower essence for changes is walnuts. So walnut helps us with changes in our lives. And I mean, everything, for any type of emotional imbalance that you're feeling or going through, the flowers are here to help us. They want to help us. That's why I'm here sharing with you guys, so can kind of get more people to be a part of it.
Could you do a whole kit like based on chakras?
Yes, of course you could, because every chakra is associated with an emotion and organs. I personally haven't made them for chakras, only because I have probably over 100 flower essences. Oh God, I think I have more than that. Over 100 flower essences, let's just say that. And I think someone might need something, and in reality, even like, let's say they're like, I have issues with my solar plexus, and you think, all these emotions that are associated with solar plexus, and then the flower essences that go with those emotions. But when you really get down to the nitty gritty and you talk to the person and you really get a sense for what's really underneath their issues, they don't need that flower essence. They need something completely different. So yes, to answer your question, and no.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. So even making like formulations like these, they're great, but I think eventually it's always good to go and get something specifically for what you are going through.
Right. Which means you got to work with somebody one-on-one for the most part.
Not necessarily. Like I said, you could be drawn to flowers. Like pay attention to the flowers that are in your garden. Why are you drawn to having those flowers in your garden?
What if I got no flowers in my garden? What if everything I try to grow dies?
Well, like, what do you have a favorite flower like that you want your husband to bring you? Or when you go outside and you see flowers, you're like, ooh, I like that one. That one's beautiful.
I really like peonies. I think they're really pretty.
There you go. So peonies flower essence. That's not a flower I work with, but you can Google it and I bet you it's for something. Well, actually, let's look it up right now. Peonies. How do you spell peony?
It's Peonies, I think.
Peonies. Let's see if it comes up. Oh yeah, flower essence right there.
Yeah, Heather, you can buy formulas or individual essences from her.
Peony. I found it.
You're totally a peony. No, Nicholle also, you sometimes make your own, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Nichole's a little crazy. She's like, when the group is called My So-Called Hippie Tribe, Nicholle is definitely on the more hippier side of the hippie tribe.
And that's just in the last 3 years. Like before this, I was super left brain logical. I was a pilot, like business owner, like completely like didn't believe in any of this stuff. And then my life just changed like for the better. It was awesome.
I love it.
I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
Yeah. Or you can go to if you want to run out over to the health food store, they'll have like Bach flower essences you could try too. Or give Nicholle a call and she'll run you through what you're dealing with and get you up with a really good formula.
Yeah, I can write down. I have an online store with the flower essences that I sell.
Great. What is it?
I'm writing it out. It's lafloweressence.com. I just put it in the group.
Oh, good. I was going to write it out in the group, but Nicholle is on it. Perfect.
There you go. Yeah. So if anyone wants to purchase any of the flowers that I talked about today, they can message me or go straight to the website and make the purchase, especially for the holidays. I love recommending flower essence formulas for the holiday gifts, just like stocking stuffers, you know?
Mm-hmm. Kind of piggybacks on, we did a live on Wednesday talking about how to stay sane during the holiday season.
Yeah. I'm doing tapping out holiday stress and tapping in happy holidays in Temecula and in Encinitas in December, because I know people, like I personally have lost it during the holidays. So I'm gonna tap all that stress out.
Yeah, every time you say that, you know the song Walk It Out?
Mm-hmm. Now walk it out. Now tap it out. And tap
That's all I hear when you say that.
That should be my theme song. I love it.
Every time you're like tapping.
I've been requesting like to the universe, please send me some type of like theme song, and now I think I got
it. Tap it out to walk it out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my, I'm so, and I don't know if you guys know, Nicholle and I are going to do some work together. We're going to put together an EFT for moms, because, you know, moms bring in some very specific issues that we work with. So we're going to come up with something. We got a good synergy here. I'll come up with the crazy antics, and Nicholle brings the actual knowledge.
Aww. We both have something to bring to the table. And to answer Heather's question, it is amazing for kids and amazing for animals. So flower essences, so like you've been mentioning, sometimes it's kind of hard for us as adults to really believe that something like this is going to really work. But with kids and with pets specifically, they don't think about that stuff. And so they're open, they're allowing it to just work. And you can see changes within minutes with kids. Whereas with adults, it might take a little bit of time, like a couple days or a couple hours or even a couple weeks, depending on how close the person is. But with children and animals, oh my gosh, it's amazing. If you really want to put this to the test, you're not really 100% open to it, and you really want to see if it works, use it on your animal, and then use it on your kids, and then you'll know.
That makes sense. All right. If you guys have any other questions on flower essences, go and throw them in the comments. If you're listening to the replay, we can always come back and get your answers.
Yes.
What else haven't we talked about?
I don't know. Now I'm singing that song in my head.
Right? It's good.
I am. It's going to be stuck in my head. I know it is. Oh. Tap it out. Tap it out.
Oh, Lord. Oh, yes, it's so good. Theme song we got going on. Oh, one day we'll get really good production on this, and like you'll come on again and I'll play that for you. Like that.
Yes. Yes. I was like, should I like YouTube it right now? But it says walk it out.
It says walk it out. Yeah, we got to redo it so it says tap it out.
Tap it out. Tap it out. I like it.
So what happened, Heather asked, what happened to make you move from your old way of being into this?
Well, in 2000 and oh gosh. So my, like everyone's journey, there's like ups and downs and lots of changes. And mine probably started when, well, I don't even know if I can pinpoint it, because I went from being like, I ate really bad when I was younger at McDonald's, I mean, a whole bunch of stuff. And I ended up wanting to help my mom heal herself from multiple sclerosis when I was around 25, 24 years old. She had been diagnosed when I was 18, and I just had seen her progressively get worse and worse and worse on conventional medicine and on a regular American diet. That around 24, 25, I had a woman tell me that she was offended, kind of. She was like, oh my gosh, you eat meat? I don't eat meat. I've never eaten meat before. And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? She's like,
in your whole life? Wow.
Yeah, she was raised on vegetarian diet. Yeah. But she was from, I think, France or something. So from another country. And so I was like shocked. I'm like, what's vegetarian? I don't know what that is. And she said, you should go to PETA's website. And I'm like, what's PETA?
Oh, now I'm scarred for life.
I legitimately went home that night. I was probably like 24, 25 years old. And I went home and I was just like crying and just shocked and like traumatized. And that night I was like, I'm never eating animals again. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now I'm only eating pasta. Now I'm only eating bread. And now I feel worse. I feel sicker. So there's more to this than I thought there was. And that kind of started my journey of like, okay, food is medicine. Let's figure this out. Like, I had no one to teach me. I had to learn on my own. And then I had a very dominant personality back then. And so I told my husband and I told my mom, I'm like, you guys are doing this too. And we're all going to eat healthy. And I'm going to make you better. I would tell my mom. And I felt like it was my mission to heal her. And around the time I turned 30, from 25 to 30, I had been vegetarian. I went vegan for a year. So vegetarian for a year, vegan for another year, raw foodist for 6 months, which was so hard. Mm-hmm. I did juicing, like a good part of that. I did juicing, which I got more food poisoning than I ever got in my entire life in that time frame. And it was just like ups and downs. Like, I'm like, there's way more to this. Like, I'm thinking that these extreme diets are the answer. They're not. They're not the answer for me. And so that's when I went back to school when I turned 29, 30, and I went to become a naturopath. And I realized, okay, I need to do something more like intuitive eating. Like, I love to intuitively eat. Sometimes I eat meat very once in a blue moon, but I still do eat meat if my body calls for it.
Can I ask you something really quick?
Yeah.
Because we talked about frequency. I was thinking about this the other day. So, I don't know. So it sounds horrible, but when animals are gone to slaughter, like, they don't like nicely put the animal to sleep, right? Because you can't inject them with anything to make them go to sleep and then cut them up into like for food.
Yeah, it's
What
not
do you,
cost effective.
right. And then whatever they would use would be in the tissue.
Right.
What do you think about the frequency of food when
So I think,
like, I've been thinking about this lately and I'm like, oh man.
so, okay, so here's my belief in regards to that. Yes, I feel like the animal's emotions are still stored in the meat, and you do end up eating that and eating that frequency, eating the energy of their emotions at the time that they were slaughtered and their whole life. Like they could have lived in fear their whole life. So the solution to that for myself, I have found is getting the meat from the best quality that I can get it from, preferably from a mom and pop farmer, butcher, somebody who like raised the animal in the field, had a good life, and then got butchered. Or I feel like when you pray over a food, you change the frequency. Whenever you give thanks for the food that you're consuming, you change the frequency. And so if you do end up having to do that 80-20, 80% always the best, 20% best available, and you're eating that 20% best available at the time that you're eating, just giving it thanks and just being truly grateful for that animal's life and that sacrifice changes the frequency. And then therefore you're not absorbing the imbalanced parts.
Yeah. Have you seen this study where people that are like pray over their food, how like when you look at like, it was like, people that when they eat, they think negative, like, oh, this is going to whatever, versus people that are very grateful and pray over the food, that the people that are negative when they eat, they actually gain more weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And even like if you're eating a donut and you tell your body, you tell yourself that this donut is good for you, that it's the best thing in the world, that it's not going to harm, like it's not anything negative, it changes the frequency.
Like, dude, I'm all about that if I can eat donuts.
Don't feel guilty if you're going to have a donut. Like, eat it with happiness, because what the real harm to your body is going to be the guilt that you're feeling, the stress that you're causing yourself by being like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Oh, feel so guilty. That's what's harming you probably more than the donut itself.
Right. No, I agree.
Eat the donut and be happy.
I 100% agree.
You heard it here from me that you can eat a donut if you're happy about it.
There we go. There we go.
So back to the story. Yeah, I don't even know where I left off.
So you did extreme diets trying to heal your mom. Then you went back. Going to become a naturopath.
When I was in school, I realized, okay, intuitive eating, and then I also realized the biggest lesson that a practitioner probably will learn is that you cannot heal anyone. They need to want to heal themselves, and they will heal themselves. You can't heal anyone. All you can do is just show them a path and guide them as much as you can, but it's not your responsibility to heal anyone. And that was the biggest lesson my mom taught me. And we had a profound like change in our relationship when I realized that, and I gave her body back. And that's why I have this book back here. It's one of the books that I like to show all of my clients, but it's Own Your Own Body. Own yourself. Like, you are in charge of your mental state, your emotional state, your spiritual state, and your physical state. No one else is in charge of it.
I like how you said they gave her body back. What else was I going to ask you?
Everyone has a new perspective on donuts now. Yes, donuts. Let's all go to Krispy Kreme.
If that is like all we get out of this group, we have done our job.
Right? Yeah.
Oh man, my favorite donuts, just because we're talking about them, are Krispy Kreme donuts. Oh,
right. Gosh, especially, have you been to the factory right when they just come out of the like conveyor belt and they're nice and warm? And
oh my gosh, they're like cotton candy. Like, you put them in your mouth and they just like dissolve.
I know, it's so good.
They're my favorite.
We're like promoting Krispy Kreme right now. It's awesome.
I know. My friend Heather doesn't eat sugar, and I'm like, she tells me you can eventually get over a hump where then if you eat sugar, it makes you feel real bad. I'm kind of good in my hump where I can eat sugar and it doesn't make me feel bad. Like, I don't know if I want to get to that place yet.
I mean, I can't have pounds of it, but yeah, it doesn't harm me. I mean, again, I'm just grateful that I can eat it. So in that gratitude, I guess it doesn't harm me.
I love it. What else? Anything else in?
I don't know. We went all over the place
I
today.
know. I know. So I know we talked before, not on our live, but we were talking about where you were going to go in the new year and doing more like natural path stuff.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. We got like 15 minutes.
That's funny you asked me, because I was like, I wonder if I should bring it up. And then sure enough you are. So yeah, I am creating. So since I started my practice full time in May, I kept getting this message of membership. And I'm like, what is this? I don't know what you're talking about. And then I got confirmation a week ago from a practitioner. She was like telling me that my guides kept telling her to tell me membership, and that's it. And so today I had a huge epiphany, and I looked up membership medicine. So I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but yeah, membership medicine. And so I started looking it up today, and I just had a huge eureka moment. I just like threw up my papers and I was like, eureka, like this is what I've been searching for. And so I'm going to make, starting in January, it's going to launch in January, a membership type of practice where you pay monthly or an annual retainer, and you just get access to all of the things that I've learned, because I was trying to create like this body program, and I was trying to like promote and sell this mental and emotional program, and I was kind of like dividing myself, and then it didn't feel like me. Like I feel like it should all be encompassed together. Like it's a wholesome, it's a complete like system, body, mind, spirit, mental. And so with this like membership opportunity, I get to just put it all out there, like all the things that I've learned throughout the last like 3 years of taking care of yourself, and things that I've seen work, and work one-on-one with clients, and have a smaller practice, so I can really just give my 100% attention to each of my clients, since I have a smaller amount of people, and just be able to help them and help people know everything that's good for themselves. So yes, I'm excited about that.
That is cool.
Yeah. And as I'm learning new things, I just add it into my practice, because I was afraid of that. I'm like, what if I learn a new modality? That's another thing that I have to try to like tell my clients about, like, you know, like trying to like, how do I explain it? Like all these different programs that people create, and it's like another thing to buy, another thing to buy, another thing to buy. Like, when do you stop? Whereas with membership, it's like everything that you learn as a practitioner, you just share it with your community. It's your community, and they just grow with you. So.
I like that, because then I don't know, it would make me as a practitioner feel a lot better than having to go back and like continue to just keep up that buy another thing. Then it's just like, let me just give. If I can just focus on giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, that's a really good exchange for me.
Yes. And that's why, like, I literally, like, I saw my husband today, and I had my sweater and my papers, and I was just like, eureka, because it was just, I felt finally like my, like everything was just like coming together. So.
Yeah, you'll find
to launch that for everyone.
Yeah, you'll have like the clients that are, I don't know if you call them clients or patients or whatever, but you have the people that really resonate with that work, and then all you have to do is give. That's great.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's very exciting. And then if people want to connect with you, I know we post up your website. We'll post it up again. They can go to, I'm guessing, Flower Nicholle on Insta.
Yep, flowernicholle.com. And if they sign up for my newsletter, then they'll get notification on when I launch that membership program.
Ooh, very cool. And then we're going to give away some stuff too.
Yes,
how about, you want to give away something live right now?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a live one real quick.
Let's do a fearless. Or a floor asleep, whichever one.
All right. Let me see if, hold on. I think I have everybody that's been on this one. I'm thinking whoever jumped on right now. Let's see. So I saw my friend Jonica, my friend Lauren, Heather's on, Delisa's on. Who else is on? If I haven't said your name and you're watching,
I'm going to read Corin, Latrice.
All right. Hey, Latrice. All right.
Corin. Did you get Corin?
Okay.
Jill, Sabrina,
Okay.
What's Jonica? Is it Jonica?
Yep. Jonica.
Let's see. I got Heather, and we got Jill. Oh, we got Jill. Yeah, you got Jill.
Yeah. So what we'll do, what's the second one? The second what? The second, oh, the thing. She has a sleep one, and then she has the one for fearless.
So Flora Sleep is a formula that helps to stop the monkey chatter when you're trying to sleep, or if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't go back to bed. It helps you to relax and just to go back to a peaceful, restful time.
Okay, so this is how this is gonna go. We're gonna give away one of those, and then what we'll do as well is we'll wait for everybody in the replay. We'll do the one where like whoever comes in and watches the video and comments, we'll give away something like that tomorrow. What do you want to give away tomorrow? You want to do the
well, we were gonna give a custom formula
okay.
away.
We'll do a custom formula tomorrow with anybody that watches, with everybody that watches the video and puts a comment. But right now we'll give away, what are we doing? Sorry, it's Sunday.
Yeah, and it's a Flora Sleep or a Fearless formula.
Okay, so you can choose a Flora Sleep or a Fearless.
There you go. Right,
so this is how it goes. I want somebody in the comments to go ahead and pick a number 1 through 8. Whoever posts the first number will tell us who wins because I have them all written down here. So now we wait.
So like you picked a number?
I wrote everybody's name down, 1 through 8.
Oh, okay.
And so whoever somebody picks, and there's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm looking.
So I'm waiting.
Is that a pencil? Is that one of those pencils where you like
pull it out the bottom and you put it in the top? Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I love this.
Hi. Heather, you're so funny. So Heather picks number 3, and you actually picked yourself.
Really?
Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
All right, Heather, you won. Somebody's in the vibration today. All right.
Congratulations, Heather.
What's up? You want water? Okay. Come here. You want to say hi to everybody?
I'm private messaging you right now, Heather.
Great. So we'll do another giveaway tomorrow. And here's the baby. Say hi, Everly. Say hi. Say hi. Are you waving? Oh, there you go. Now say hi. There you go. Okay. So we'll give the other one away tomorrow. And then I have one more giveaway I'll probably do in just a second where we're going to give away the planner. So if you guys haven't added anybody to the group that you think might be a really good fit, go ahead and add them. And then I'll put together all the names in a little bit and we'll raffle that one out. Cool. Well, it's 8:25.
There we go.
So,
we did good.
Yeah.
Wow, the time goes by so fast with you.
I know. I always enjoy talking to you. It's fun.
Yes. Hi.
Bye.
You want to say bye?
Bye.
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 All right. Well, have a great rest of your night. And then, yeah, guys, connect over with Nicholle via Facebook, Insta, and then go visit her website.
Yes, please do. So talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.